and welcome to the Pursuit of Healthiness podcast. I'm your host, Winona van Delft. I'm a health and mindset coach, spaghetti and ice cream lover, travel drunk, and a cat mom. I love conversations that are on a more raw and deeper level. So today's episode is something else. I don't have just one, but I have two guests. These amazing women, Chelsea and Stefanie, are a magical duo who work together in a high-demanding corporate job that causes them to give health problems. Chelsea had dangerously high blood pressure and Stefanie had multiple miscarriages and is stillborn. It made them realize that they had to do something else, and that's how they started CS Planners, to be healthier and happier again. It gave them a lot of freedom, and Stefanie now has a beautiful daughter. They are now coaching solopreneurs how to grow their business through branding, networking, and mindset so they can also live their dream life. Hello and welcome to my podcast. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one too because it's a special one. Normally it's one-on-one, but now I have two amazing women. Hey! So tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, where you're coming from, and why it is the two of you today.
Yeah, so where to begin? Well, Steph, do you want to start? Because it really starts with your story.
Yeah. So right now what we do is we help solopreneurs launch and grow their online business. And we do that by focusing on branding, networking, and mindset. And it really started when I was on maternity leave. And I originally just wanted to start just as a little bit of side income to try to essentially just make a bit of extra money because I wasn't getting anything. So I'd figured, okay, just do it on the side. But then I really, really, really enjoyed it. And I was making more money than I was at my full-time job, but I felt pressured to go back to my full-time job. I once loved my full-time job, but it was very stressful managing both. But thankfully, that's when Chelsea came in. She really helped me manage both, like my full-time job, because we both worked together and previously as well. So we focused on, like, she helped me manage it all. So full-time job and then a baby as well that I had and juggling the side business. But then as Chelsea got into it, the more she started loving it too. And then we had a goal of quitting our full-time jobs, and we were able to do that less than 4 months, being able to quit our full-time jobs and then fully launched on our own. And then once COVID hit, I feel like that really took a whole different level, and it's very exciting. So it brought us here today.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. Awesome.
That's how you make the long story short.
Yeah, yes. A long story short.
Yeah.
So you went on maternity leave. How was it? How was it to be away from a job that you love?
Oh,
You're happy
it was great because I feel like as soon as I got, it's almost like a sense of like, it kind of breaks it up a little bit in the sense of I got trapped in the 9 to 5, like craziness, busy. Like you're literally, you go to work, I say 9 to 5, I feel like it's more than that. You go 9 to 5 and then you're busy working, you come home, you sleep, and then you go back. And I got trapped in that. So when I went on maternity leave, I even said this to Chelsea before, as soon as I got back to that, like back to the 9 to 5, I'm like, I almost had a sense of that freedom of what it was like to work from home, having that freedom, not have like getting to pick my own hours, being able to have everything that I want, being there for my daughter. And I feel like I struggled a lot when I went back to my full-time job. I felt pressured into it because that was like the right thing to do. That's what people said, right? We heard so many different people saying, like, I remember asking Chelsea, she was one of the only ones that says, go after your goals, go after those dreams. Like, let's make that happen. And she's always been like a huge inspiration because she was one of the only ones from very early on that actually said that. And I feel like it's incredible. I feel like that's what helped.
Yeah,
I think really
support.
Yeah, like we loved our full-time jobs at one point. Like it was exactly where I needed to be at that time. And Steph, when she was off and she had her child, she did have a concern about coming back. And it's also because she lost a child. So like being able to have that one with her, it was like, I need to spend time with this, because I'm sorry about telling your story, but it's just like when you lose something, you really appreciate what you have. And so when she was finally able to have her daughter, it was just like her world changed. So when she came back to work, I could tell the shift. You knew she didn't want to be there. And for me, it was just like, then why? Like, what's forcing you to be here? But we had colleagues too that were also saying, no, you need to be here. A lot of people feel that way, but they're so thankful they went back to work.
Yeah.
But Steph is unique. Steph is a very kind person. And like, she's also wanting to make so many people happy. But I knew just from what she was saying, it was like, you don't want to be here. So why are you doing this? You're making the money, you're successful. But it's tough because you do have those social pressures that you're trying to please, and it's not easy.
No,
That's
it's
so
not.
true, because like it is like, as soon as I had my daughter, I'm like, I have been waiting years for this. Like, I had so much struggles to get her, and I'm like, now I have her. I'm on maternity leave. I'm like, she is literally, like, doctors told me I could not have her, and she's here. I'm like, and everybody's telling me I should go back to work and leave her. Like, I finally got her. Like, I finally got my dream, like, of having her. And I'm like, how can I leave now? I feel like she is my reason why I do all this. She's the reason why I started. She is a huge inspiration. Be like, yeah, you can, like, the impossible is possible. And she is proof that, like, medical proof that, like, doctors told me I could not have her. They told me that. And I said, watch me. And I did. And I have her. And I feel like she's a huge inspiration now to my life. And as soon as Chelsea is like, same thing. Like, as soon as like I went back to my full-time job, she was the one be like, you can do this. Like, and then the more she got into it, the more we just grew together and more passionate. And I feel like we were able to leave and quit our full-time jobs that much faster because the team and like together. I feel like that's why we were able to quit our full-time jobs so quickly, having both of us, and we both had full-time jobs too. So I feel like that's huge for us.
Amazing. Awesome. I have a question about the miscarriage. Do you think it's because of the pressure from your job? Or was it because of something else?
A lot of it. So this was back in 2016, where I didn't have any previous like medical, like anything wrong. This is with my first pregnancy. They told me everything was healthy, and then I had a stillborn. So he was born and around 24, 25 weeks. So he was. I went through labor and everything, and they had no idea why it happened. And I feel like at the time I put my job first. I put him first, but I feel like it was hard because even when I was pregnant, I was still overworking myself. I feel like it got to the point where I was so stressed. And then after I lost my son, then what happened is I kept having miscarriage after miscarriage. And I feel like because of the stress of it, and I remember I feel like near the end when I got pregnant with Maddie, as soon as I let go of that stress of the job, I got pregnant with Maddie and everything just kind of switched. So I feel like being stressed at a job is huge impact, because I think I've had like maybe 5-6 miscarriages after doctors told me, they're like, you cannot have kids. And I'm like, I have to try. I tried one more time. That's it. They told me, don't try anymore. Don't go after it. They told me that. And I'm like, I just need that once. I tried one more time and I have Maddie because of it, because I listened to my gut. I'm telling you, this is it. But I remember at the time, like our job previously it's almost like you put your job before even your health, before taking care of yourself. So they mostly care that you are there for your job. Like, are you able to do your job? Okay, that's great. And the same thing with you, Chelsea. Like, they were like for both of us.
And also for you, Steph, like our job wasn't a typical 9-to-5. We had a very, very active job. So like even Steph, when they were telling her, like, rest a little bit, she was on her feet for sometimes 12 hours a day. Like sometimes we would be working from 7 a.m. till midnight the following day. Like our job was always changing, but it was very active. So I feel like even when you needed to take that rest, you in your mind, and because Steph is such a good worker, it's like, I'm not going to be the one that sits here and says, no, I'm not going to do it. Steph, because she's a good person and a good worker, she's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. But how about you? Because you are praising Stefanie, and I can imagine. I mean, you're amazing. But how about you? How did you manage all of that?
Yeah, so for me, like I said previously, I did love my job at one point. It gave me so many opportunities that I'm so thankful for. However, it got to a point, and I don't fully know what happened, but everything switched. So this place that used to be a fun, happy environment where I used to play just to have a little break and interact with more people, and the environment was very positive. And then there was this switch where all of a sudden I became extremely stressed. I became an anxious person, being like, what am I doing with my life? And I ended up going to my doctor, and she's like, so you have high blood pressure. We've been tracking this for like the past year and a half, and it's slowly getting higher and higher. And I think it was like 134 over 103. Like it wasn't good. It was pretty dangerous.
No. Yeah.
And so my doctor was like, you need to go on stress leave. Like, just because it's been a consistent thing, it's not like it's a one-off where it's just randomly high. It's consistent and it's getting higher and higher. So what's going on? And I was like, the only thing I do is work. That I don't have a life. I work. And so she's like, you need to go on stress leave. So I came back. I obviously tell Steph everything. So I'm like, so this is what the doctor said. And I even went to talk to one of my colleagues that I was very comfortable talking to about, just because we became very close at one point. And he's like, but you can't go on stress leave. Like, how? And I was like, I know. I told them I can't. I told my doctor, no, this is not the time. I'm too busy. I can't take it, because then the team struggles. And I feel like it was that point where Steph's like, if you need to go on stress leave, go on stress leave. Like, just go for it. And I was like, no, I can't. It's fine. We'll wait. But I remember telling Steph so often, like, I don't know if I'm going to make it to the age of 65. I really felt that at one point. And like, I was gaining a lot of weight. I was drinking more because of the stress of the day. I'm like, this is how I need to unwind. And it got to a very dangerous point. But then once we quit our job and I went back to the doctor, she's like, okay, like, you need to go on stress leave. And I was like, don't worry, I quit. So it made it even easier.
Yeah.
And after doing that, my blood pressure went down. I was starting to get healthier. I lost 10 pounds within like the first month of not being there. And it's not like I really changed much within that first month, but I was able to like start feeling healthier. And I remember telling Steph, I was like, I might make it to the age of 75 at least. I think I gained 10 years of my life in just 1 month.
Actually, though, like, I remember like them telling you have to put your health aside because your job is more important. And I remember thinking, I was like, I was so shocked. Like, how can you put your health, like, your doctor is telling you to go off on stress leave and it's affecting your health.
Yeah.
But when you're stuck in that like time, you're stuck in the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's easy, very easy to get caught up in it. And sometimes, like, unless you step back away from it for whatever reason, for me, when I was on maternity leave, once I stepped back, then I realized. But at the time, you don't realize, because you're like, for me, I almost felt like used to it. I got used to the busyness. We got used to working 12 to 15-hour days, being pregnant, having high blood pressure. It didn't matter whether we were sick, whether we weren't. None of that mattered, because we're so used to it. And I feel like until you step back, or until you really think about, am I happy with my life? Am I happy with my 9 to 5 job? Am I stressed? Am I eating a lot, drinking a lot? I got to the point where like Chelsea and I were drinking like so much because we were stressed. Like, it was stressful because we needed it. Like, I feel like that was our escape. And it was hard, but until you step back, and once we quit our jobs, I I don't think it could ever go back to that, because it affects like your mental health, your physical health. It affects everything. And I feel like I'm so much happier, but sometimes you get trapped and you don't always realize, because I didn't realize. It's only reflecting back that I realized that, you know what, I should have taken a break. I should have been there, and I should have listened to the doctors more, like, but you don't think any of those things, right? Like, you don't think, well, stress can't be that, if it can't impact that much. I remember talking myself out of everything, taking a break for myself. Everything I wanted to do, I convinced myself out of it. It's like, no, I have to keep going. I have to keep going. And it wasn't until recently, I feel like, within the year, I really noticed a huge change. Like, you know what, in order to take care of my daughter, in order to take care of my family, to be a better person for the business, for everything, to make more money, to be happier, healthier, I need to spend more time on myself. And I feel like doing that completely changed everything.
I even think just like booking doctor's appointment became a hassle. So like, because we were so busy, it was like, do I really need to go to the doctor, or can I wait a while? Because I don't have time to take off during the day to run off to the doctors. Yeah. So I think too, like, we even had things go longer than we probably should have let them, where now that we're focusing on our own jobs, it's, if I say, hey, Steph, I'm leaving at this time to go to a doctor's appointment, it's like no one cares. And even tracking time, because I remember I worked so many extra hours that I had almost 4 weeks of overtime that I could have used. And I didn't actually get to use all of them. But even by the end of when we were leaving, they were switching their overtime hours. But then when I was talking to the manager, she's like, you'll still be expected to do what you have to do. You just don't get those extra overtime. And it's just like, so you want me to work extra hours when I've already worked 4 weeks of extra overtime that I have not taken yet because I don't have time. And now you're saying I won't even get that, because that's what I use to allow me to go to the doctors for an extended period of time if needed. So like, even now, like, talking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so stressful.
I remember that time. They're like, if you work Monday to Friday, if you work any extra hours beyond your 9 to 5, that's okay. That doesn't count really towards anything. And it's like, but I'm expected to do it because I need to, like, we'd be working 12, 15 hours, I remember, and we'd be expected to be there right in the morning. And and
your salary. And at that point you didn't have a kid. So like, of course you have to work extra hours because all the other people are hourly and they don't want to pay the hourly, and the other salaried people have kids, so they get to leave. So it was always Steph and I. It was always Steph and I. Like, I feel like we were just meant to be together.
I even can see it through the screen. Like, you are just so like best friends for life. Like, you together, you're just one.
But
it's true. But what I a lot see before COVID, because now most of the people are home, but before COVID, when you would ask someone like, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm busy. But it's kind of a good thing to be busy, but it's not. It's not. People are busy, but they don't focus on themselves, and they think it's a good thing to be busy. They think it's a good thing to be stressed out. They think it's a good thing to be tired all the time and to feel pain everywhere in your body, but it's not.
It's so true. I had a conversation with one of the people we worked with, and he's still there. Even during COVID, they were saying, they're like, I'm so busy, I'm so stressed. And they're like, but how's your business going? I was like, it's good. Like, we have lots to do, but we're not busy and we're not overwhelmed. And then just listening to them talk, and they're still there. So now a lot of people were laid off, so they're asked to do even more. And it's just, hearing them. At one point I thought being busy was good, and I thought if you weren't busy, then what are you doing? Like, you have to be doing something. Where now it's just like, I'm sitting down to watch a Netflix show today. Like, not feeling it.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like when you're trapped in there, that busy cycle, I found for me, it's hard to break free of that a little bit. Like, it's hard, like, because you're so used to it. And then it's like, everybody's busy. Like, you know, you just hear like, okay, well, that's everybody's life. That's just what the normal is. But that's not. Like, that's how it shouldn't be. Like, you can live your dream life. You can have time to take care of yourself. You can have all that time, and you should. It's necessary, because I feel like a lot of problems, I feel like even in my family, a lot of it has to do with like stress, and the health of their job is huge. Like if they sat down and took time for yourself and did, have more of a balance, a work-life balance, I feel like we'd be living longer. I feel like that was always a joke with Chelsea and I when we were at our jobs. Like, okay, well, we're just like, reduced our life by like 10 years because,
there goes 2 years
there.
after that meeting.
I know that. Yeah.
And even now I feel bad because like I talk to family and friends who they have really good paying jobs, but they're miserable and they're so stressed and they're so overwhelmed, and they just keep talking. They're like, I'm telling everyone to find some type of hobby, and then I'm over here being like, yeah, you should. Like maybe try doing your own thing. But because they get paid so well, they're like, I can't do that. Where we didn't get paid the best, so it was an easier decision to make. But I do understand how if you're making a lot of money, making that transition's tough, but once you do it, you are so thankful. Literally, it's life changing. Literally.
But how did you manage? I mean, you both had a job from 9 to 5, but you said you're working 12 to 15 hours a day. So you are tired when you're coming home. And I can imagine the listeners have the same who want to start their own business. So how did you manage to still show up and do it and choose for yourself, even after you've been so tired from working all day and the stress?
So we found something that we're very passionate about. So for us, it became almost like mandatory in a day to fit in our business because it was our escape. We used it as like a stress reliever. This was our time for ourselves. And and that's just how we dealt with it at the time. And it was very, very, very busy. I wish I would have personally reduced my hours earlier on in the job, so I had more time actually for myself. But how we managed is we would get together before work, early 7 o'clock. And there was one day that I remember that we had to work, like we worked on our business from like 7 until 8:30. And then we worked 8:30 a.m. until, what was it?
1 a.m. or 2.
1 or 2
morning.
a.m. all the way in the morning. And because we had a really big event for our actual job, and so they needed us there all day, and we did it. Like anytime they wanted hours, we did. It was such a struggle. Whereas if I were to tell my past self, I would have been like, you know what, if you want to make yourself a priority, have more of a balance. Like it's okay to say, you know what, maybe cut down your hours. It would have been so much easier if I would have, went down part-time or maybe managed it a bit differently, because working 7 a.m. to like 1 or 2 a.m. is ridiculous. There's another way of doing that. You can be there for yourself and you don't always have to fully, I feel like a really good job won't require you to, give up your health just to have a job, because it's important to take care of yourself, because for your family, for yourself, to be able to do more, right? You want to be there more for yourself.
And even going off what Steph said, so she did say exactly what happened. We would meet at 7 a.m. at a local coffee shop until 8:30. Then we would go to work. And then, it was 8:30. It was like a Friday morning till 2 a.m. a Saturday morning. But then we stayed later to continue doing some work because we needed to do it together. So we were at our location until like 4 a.m. and then we left. And I think for us, like she said, it was an escape, but then we also realized that because it was so much of an escape and it was so relaxing for us, we wanted to make it a priority. So what we did, it was once we made up our mind that we were going to do this full focus, it was October 17th. We sat in a coffee shop, we registered that business, and we made it a priority. We're like, we want to be gone like by the end of this year. So by December, we want to be able to give our notice. So we focused it on networking to try to get clients. And because that became a priority, we put that on the top of our list. So we do client work, but we want to bring in enough clients that we knew we could support both of us on our own. So we networked, and Steph did an incredible job. She's like, oh, I have this person. We're going to talk to this person. We would go during lunch, run to like my car, and we'd be sitting there on a call just to be out of the business, just in our car in the middle of like winter. And then we were able to get it. So within a month, so I think it was by like November 16th. So like within that month, we had enough clients for us to give our jobs our notice. But again, we had so many overtime hours and holidays. So we're like, we're going to give you like 2 months or a month's notice. So January 1st will be our last day. So then we could just use up all of our holidays. And at that point, like I still felt guilty, but usually during the holidays, I would be preparing for the upcoming year, where this time I was like, I don't need to prepare. So I'm just going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that the next person is as prepared as they can be. But that's why we're like, we need to network because we need to get out of here.
So you made it a priority to
absolutely
take time for yourself.
You had to.
Yeah, you have to,
exactly.
definitely. Yeah. Okay. I had a question. Because of your business, you are helping other businesses, right? Other people to start up own business. Why would they choose you to help them, to guide them, to support them?
I love this question. We've had this before.
Yeah.
And this is how we've answered before, and I feel like this is how we're going to always answer.
Yeah.
You get 2 of us.
Yeah, definitely.
And the way we work, and so sometimes I find like when we've been talking to one person, it's just like they get so stuck in this mindset. And even when I've done one-on-one coaching calls, it's just like, I know that there's more, but like you feel that need to constantly talk just to filibuster, I guess, like fill in that little blank.
Yeah.
But with the 2 of us, we're able to bounce ideas off. It's more of like a collaboration. So when we work with a client, it's not just me or Steph saying, okay, you should do this, you should do this. It's a group of us, and it's more like it's a collaboration where we say, well, how do you feel about this? And then if they don't like that, then the other person's like, well, what about this? And we kind of build off of each other. That it is unusual. Most people do only have like one. They're a solopreneur.
Yeah.
And we know that finding a partner, it isn't like you just pick a person and say, I'm going to start a business with you. Like this is planned out. Like Steph and I, we know we work well together. We know that we can trust each other. And I think like just for us, and this might be just a selfish thing, but I feel like we bring energy sometimes, especially when we talk about something we're passionate about.
Yeah, I can see that.
Thank you. Yeah. So I feel like that's why people have been talking to us. And because we have had that story of like, we were at a place where we thought we were happy. Turns out we weren't. We busted our asses off. Sorry if I'm not allowed to swear.
Oh no, you can say whatever you want to say. You can just say what you want to say.
Real hard. and we made it happen. And I feel like it's a great way to inspire other people. And we did it without spending lots of money. It was just us 2 learning how to do it. And we went through the ropes of trying different things. And I think because we did that, it gave us more insight, and we've learned so much along the way that when we talk to people, it's like, yeah, we dealt with that. Yeah. We know, we get it.
Yeah.
And too, another thing is like, because there's 2 of us, we have so much experience, and we're not like a one size fits all, because every single business is so different, right? So there's no like, okay, this is the way you have to do it and have a specific guidelines, because that's not true. There's so many different ways. We have so much experience that between the 2 of us, we know, okay, well, what's your business? We've worked with everywhere from like top photographers, nutritionists, bookkeepers, authors, motivational speakers, coaches. So we have a variety, and each one of those businesses had a different way of launching. So between the 2 of us, we know what works in a variety of different fields. We know what works and what doesn't, right? So we can help people launch, and we're very passionate. I feel like you can tell how we are very passionate about helping others. We know what it's like to struggle, and we know that so many people right now are struggling. We've had so many people say, they've been laid off, or they're very stressed. They're stressed with money, and we know what it feels like to be there, and we want to help them get to their dream life. We are very passionate about that, because I love everything that we do, and I want everybody else to feel that same, like, to know like you can get there. You don't have to work that crazy, stressful 9-to-5 job if you don't want to. There is other options.
I also think too, like Steph and I are like yin and yang.
Yeah.
We're opposites, but we work well together. So like, it's tough to tell, but I'm an introvert. Steph is an extrovert. So like we have different perspectives on things. So we're able to try to understand a bit more. So I'm an introvert, Steph's an extrovert. Steph has all these incredible ideas. I'm a very logistics person of like, okay, what do we need to do to get there? So I think because we have those differences, it allows us to work with a variety of different people and their backgrounds as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Awesome. How is this transition from your old job to your new job? Mentally, how has it been for you guys? Has it changed a lot, or is it just a little bit the same, or how has it impacted your life right now?
Huge. I feel like it is huge. I honestly, before working a 9-to-5 job, I had no time for my daughter. I had no time, never mind for myself. I didn't have any. I honestly, I think I would wake up, go into work, come home, and that's it. And I'm like, I'm paying all this money just to pretty much sleep. Like, you know, like that's it. I'm just paying my house just to sleep in it. I'm not really like, I'm not enjoying anything. I'm too tired on weekends to even do anything. And now is huge. We can still have that balance, still make what we want to make, still have the freedom, and still be able to balance it all. So I still have time to, you know, if I want to take my daughter out somewhere, or just, you know, spend a quality time with her without feeling like rushed or being like, okay, well, I need to get back to work because, you know, I'm really stressed, right? But it's so much calmer knowing I can balance it. I can take time for myself, take time for my daughter, and be able to get it all done. I feel like overall, I feel like I accomplish a lot more now in how I organize my day more than I've ever accomplished ever in my entire life.
And for me, my partner, he is from France, and we struggled with immigration for a while. So when he was over in France, it was better for me to be busy in a way, because I'm like, I just need to distract myself because I didn't know when he was coming back. But once he came back, and he wasn't able to work, so he came as a visitor, and he would be sitting here all day waiting for me. So my thing was like, I want to go home and spend time with him because he hasn't been like doing anything, talking to other people. So I kind of prioritized that. But because they got so used to me just wanting and being willing and able to do all those extra hours, it was like, no, he can wait. And it was just like, yeah, he can wait. He's a grown ass adult. Like he can wait. But like,
you don't want
I also want to
just
spend
want
time
together.
Yeah, we went like over a year without seeing each other. And now he's here and I want to spend time with him. And I think when we quit, like that's why I was very thankful for him, because he saw that transition of like, you were struggling, you worked hard to help get me here, and I appreciate that, but now this is your time. So because I've been able to do that, and in Europe you guys have a different mentality that I love, and he's been teaching me like, but why do you feel like you need to work all the time? Like, why do you only have like half-hour lunches throughout all these days? And like, why do you only have 2 weeks holiday? Like, yeah, in North America.
That's strange to me as well. Like, yeah.
In North America, 2 weeks holiday is like all you get. So because it is very different, and he challenged me to also think like that. So when I decided to make this transition, he really supported it and was like, you need to, because I don't like the way this office system works in North America, like in Canada. So I feel like that allowed us to grow closer too, because it gave me the time to actually spend with him, and I'm thankful.
Yeah. Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's me to hear. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you would say that you've changed as a person, or you became more yourself?
Oh, wow. That's an interesting question.
I feel like I became more myself personally. Like, I feel like I'm more me now. Whereas before, I almost felt like I felt the pressure of like society to be like, okay, well, no one in like a work environment, even half-hour lunch, I feel like not many people took the half-hour lunch. So I just felt no one else took care of themselves. So I almost felt more the pressure of like, that's what other people wanted me to be. Where now I'm more myself, I'm me. And I feel like I'm so much happier being me instead of putting on like a mask of being somebody else, because that's mentally exhausting, trying to be someone else, trying to keep up with all of these, like, so many rules I feel like that society puts on, like that you have to like do all these certain things to be happy. And it's like, it's not true, because everybody's so different. I feel like what makes me happy is different than what anybody else, and there's no right or wrong. There's no, like, if you love your job, then stick with it, but do what makes you happy. And I feel like as soon as I quit our jobs, I feel like so much, I feel like more of myself. And even the past year, I feel like I'm grown and be like, okay, this is it. I'm more me now. I'm more like myself. I feel like I've focused really on that, and I love it. Like, I'm happier, I'm healthier, I'm better for my daughter. I'm there with her more because of it.
Yeah. And I think for me, I feel like it was different. I started off by feeling like I had this society pressure, and I didn't understand anything else. It was just, this is how the way life is. Life is to grow up, find a partner in life, get married, have a house, have kids. Like, that was the quote unquote American dream. And so I just assumed that that's what it was. And then it wasn't until my partner, he started challenging those thoughts, because he's like, why do you have to have kids right now? Why do you have to buy a house right now? Like, if you're not ready for it, then why are you doing it? So he allowed me to do that. And then even throughout, once I left that job, I feel like I was able to experiment more with like trying new things, and that allowed me to step out of my comfort zone. And I feel like I really changed. And even we started off as VAs working with all these clients, and even for that, I felt like I had to be a different person in order for that, until we fully kind of switched and found a business that aligned with us. And it was like, I can be whoever I am. Like, I dyed my hair purple. It's tough to tell, but like, who am I to dye my hair purple?
I love it.
It looks good on you. Yeah.
Thank you. But it was just like,
it.
I would have never thought of doing that, where the other day I was like, I'm going to do it. And I'm like I feel like now I am who I feel like I truly am.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm so happy for you, for
Thank
both of you, that
you.
you found yourself and can express yourself in that way. I love it.
Yeah.
So to wrap it up, how can people find you? If people want to have the magical duo, how can they find you?
Yeah, there's multiple ways. So you can find us on our website. So it's www.csplanners.com. But right now, we're really excited because we do have a Facebook group called Networking and Branding for Solopreneurs. And we are offering a free 30-day client and lead challenge. So you can also leave your stressful situation to live your dream life. And we also have a 4-day masterclass coming up starting November 30th. So we're giving all of our secrets away, because we truly believe that when you get to live your dream life, everything just becomes more balanced, including your health.
Yes, amazing. Okay, I'll leave everything in the description box so people can find you and participate in the masterclass or in the challenge. So I want to thank you a lot. I really, really appreciate you guys that you wanted to be on here. And yeah, I hope that we can talk soon, actually.
I would love that.
Yes, okay. Well, thank you very much, and talk to you soon.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.